Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for the 29th day of July, 2020. Well, as I've been doing, I'm gonna go over the numerology here as I shuffle a little bit. Uh, I, I, uh, I mean, we have it's a really cool numerology. Today we have a 7 for the month, which is bringing things to balance or rest or aligning ego with spirit, transmuting ego into spirit, all of that. But we have an 11 day. 29 reduces to 11, and we won't reduce it any further because 11 is a master number, as is the 22 for the year. So we have a tremendous soul presence today in the numerology. 7 is also the number it's the septenate universe, the 7 cosmic rays. And so when you talk about the 7 cosmic rays, those are the rays that come through everything from source, through the planets. They're here in this quadrant of where we are. It's going to come through the stars of the Big Dipper. It's going to go through Sirius. And it's going to ultimately go through all of the constellations, basically all of the signs, basically, and color everything when it reaches the planet and when it reaches us as well. They basically inform everything about us. Fundamentally, our soul structure is comprised of those rays, basically, and how they're put together and how they influence us at the time of birth. That's really, the influence that we're looking at. So whether you have ray 1, which is willpower, will and power, an expression of that. Most people, I don't think, have that. That's part of more of the whole source presence of it all. But you might have a 2, the second ray. For me, the second and the 6th rays are strongest. The second ray is love and wisdom, and the 6th ray is devotion and idealism. So you'll have, and also a ray 3, active intelligence, is also active in my chart. Those are the 3 strongest ones. So I think that, at least in my chart, it changes for everybody. It's no different than any of your other astrological information, aspects, all of that. It all contributes, right, to who you are, or at least the blueprint of who you are. So right now, though, when we're looking at the 11 and the 22 in terms of the numerology today, we're really looking at awakening. We're looking at, in terms of the 11, awakening and illumination. And then with the 22, it's the cosmic builder. So what are we going to manifest? And if you look at the number itself, the 2 and the 2, if you look at each of the 2s in it as a balanced polarity, well, then what we're really talking about is how we see one another, how we see the other side of self. Do we see that other side of self as the other or as the other side of self? If we look at all of this as one collective harmonious body of energy coming together on this planet in the form of bodies and rocks and dirt and grass and whatever it is, right? It's all coming together by soul agreement. We just forget that when we get here and we think, oh, instead of seeing a brother, we see the other, and then it's on, isn't it? Well, we have really powerful numbers together today, 7, 11, and 22. So make use of them. Manifest from a higher self perspective, shift the perception from ego into spirit, and stay there. Louis Gomert, I'm talking to you. I hope that you breeze right through the COVID that you've been diagnosed with, and I hope you didn't give it to anybody yesterday at that committee hearing. Well, the short-sightedness of some will be everyone's undoing, I fear. Yeah, that's what happens in situations like this. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. If this is your first time here, apologize for the allergies, but everything is going crazy outside these days. And there's a fire somewhere, so that's also impacting us. That's always fun. Usually it's here in Central Oregon. Usually Central Oregon burns down every summer, but And that's not really so much hyperbole. There are times when it's literally so much smoke. In 2017, there was so much smoke during the summer, you couldn't go out. You just couldn't go out. There's too much. And you saw it hanging in the air. There's no fresh air to breathe all summer long. No fresh air to breathe. And I think most of it was, I don't even think most of it was even coming from Oregon. I think most of it was coming from California and Washington. So we get caught right in the middle, whether it's us or the surrounding states. Once they all start burning, you know, Oregon just gets covered. So anyway, then there's the chemtrails, which you don't see so much of right now, do you? Wonder what that's about. Let's go ahead and take our first 3 cards. Again, if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm going to take 3 cards. I may add more if we need them. I'll take the 13th one each time for randomness sake. And then if we're ready after that, we'll just go on to the Elder Futhark bag and pull a rune. And then we'll close out with a geomancy rune and let you go on about your day. The esoteric influences are uploading currently to YouTube. They'll go up as soon as I'm done here. I'll publish them, and you'll see them if you go over to the blog and find them there. They'll be over on the side panel, and this will follow underneath it. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, let's go ahead and take our first 3 cards. On this Wednesday. Oh, the Hanged Man. 12th card of the Major Arcana. A 3 energy, mind, body, spirit alignment. Pagan decks often put Odin in that position. Interesting guy who sacrificed an eye, as the story is told, hanging upside down from the world tree. As the Norns, I don't know, maybe they just felt sorry for him. It's like, okay, I guess he's done enough. Let's go ahead and give him the runes. Little divination tool, little language. Well, we have the 8 of Wands, swift action. Let's do the 3rd one. It's looking like we're probably going to put the Hanged Man in the center, but we'll see what the 3rd card is here. Because you can move your cards around, you know. You're not defined by anything. Oh, well, maybe not. The Lovers. So we have another card of the Major Arcana, another soul archetype card. This one is card 6. So interesting. I'm going to write this down here because I don't want to forget. I want to do this. I'm going to put the numerology down here. Let me think about this for a second. You know what? I'm going to put the 8 of Wands in the center. We're going to make that the impetus for everything else that follows. And since it's such a soul level day with the 7, 11, and 22, I'm going to have the major cards be the ones that are the action part of it, what we're to do with the awareness of the 8. Okay? So let's take a look at the 8. We can think of this as attack. We can think of it as protection. But the 8 is really about leadership. Swift action on the part of leadership here today. But leadership from, I said something yesterday along this regard. It was asked in the hearing to Barr what he would do regarding the election coming up. If the results were in, would he have to go? Well, yeah, I mean, he's done at the end. If he look, whether there's an election or not, whether they which there has to be, but say they don't, well, it doesn't matter. He's done on January 20th. His term ends. He doesn't get to stay. No, I believe it's the Speaker of the House that takes over until the new president is elected. Should something weird happen, right? But here's the thing. If he doesn't win, it doesn't matter. The election results are what they are, and come January 20th, even if they're in doubt, he still has to go. He's not in office anymore. It's a 4-year term. It's not predicated on what happens at the end. It's a 4-year term. He's done. If there's anything at all, the speaker takes over until the president is elected. That's what I've read. Okay? Now, assuming that what I've read is true, that's what's going to happen. So I don't know why they're even asking such a thing, but they did because it seems to be an issue. And his attitude was, well, as long as the results are clear, well, who decides that? And I said, are you, so is he going to be the arbiter of what's clear? Who defines what's clear, right? Well, that's the thing. We have leadership that's in question right now. And there needs to be some swift movement on dealing with that. Again, Louis Gohmert has the COVID, and Louis Gohmert was there yesterday with no mask on. Jerry Nadler's wife, I think, has cancer. What are they doing? What has happened to leadership? And that's what the 8's about. We need to deal with that. Swift action regarding leadership around either on the federal level or having something to do with in our personal lives. If the leadership ability within is failing, or we're being affected by people in authority around us, either doing their own thing with refusing to wear a mask, and they're asserting their own sovereignty, they're asserting their own personal authority onto other people. You see, there's issues of authority right now, of leadership with the 8. So we can either view the 8 as a spiritual warrior within and do the right thing on this incredible numerology day of 7, 11, and 22. Where do we manifest that leadership from? Well, this swift action that needs to happen. We're going to do it. We're going to. This is a 12th card, but we're going to align that with the 11. And I'll tell you why. Even though there's a 3 energy here that's catalytic, we're still aligning in source presence, aren't we? That's alignment. And you see the glow around his head. He's bringing spirit into form. And he's aligning in that presence so that he can have a better understanding of what needs to happen, surrendering to spirit, because that's what the hangman represents, is surrender and alignment in spirit. Aligning mind, body with spirit. You see the triple aspects throughout the card. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So we can align that with the 11. Here we're going to align this one with the 22. Easy to do. It's the 6th card. So 6 is higher self energy. It's shared purpose. It's alignment with others, shared direction, abundance, shared abundance. But here we have the quintessential archetypes of Adam and Eve. We see the phallic mountain in between them. But the power shifts toward her, doesn't it? Look at that. She's gazing at the angel above while he's looking at her. You see the oak tree behind him, but it's pretty sparse. Kind of looks like the one I have planted, although this one actually looks better than mine. Mine's about, I don't know, this tall, like maybe, I don't know, maybe not even 3 feet tall yet. It's got some leaves up at the top, but it's still young, it's still growing. And then we have Eve with the full abundance of the apple tree and the serpent behind her, the serpent of knowledge, while the angel sits on the clouds with the source presence above, shining down. Eve was given the tree of knowledge because Eve could handle it. Eve was given the tree of knowledge because she was the stronger of the two. and she was going to carry forward civilization. See, it's up to her. It's not up to the man. It's up to her. Could be any guy, but it could only have been Eve. But the long and the short of it is that with the 22 energy, what you're going to do, if you imagine a 2 above his head and above her head, you're aligning polarity, especially with the lovers. Coming into balance with somebody else, coming into balance within, aligning polarity within, but ideally in terms of partnership. Again, with the focus on spirit as she gazes upward. So the swift action has to be in terms of mind, body, spirit alignment, doesn't it? And coming into shared purpose with one another and understanding the greater message at hand. I don't think we need another card, but I think it mirrors perfectly. This would be the 7 energy for the day. This would impact that. Swift action in terms of alignment with others. Yes, we have a straggler there, but that's okay. As we come into mind, body, spirit alignment and awaken to the 11 energy of the day, manifesting shared abundance and shared purpose and shared direction going forward. So in other words, wear a mask, for crying out loud. Just wear a mask, Louis Gohmert. Well, you're going to have to isolate now because you can't come anywhere now. You can't go anywhere. You have to stay home or wherever you are so that you don't infect anybody else. You know, I wish him well. He's an older man, and this is not a good thing for him. But Mr. Gohmert, it's not a good thing for any of us, no matter how old we are. Pull your head out of your you-know-where. All of us need to. If you've got any confusion at all, get right with it now. This is Hagalaz, the 9th rune of the Elder Futhark, a Norn rune. Let's see, did we have Hagalaz already? Yeah, we had Hagalaz yesterday, was the rune for the day yesterday. This is about change, destruction within a fixed framework, and realistically what we're talking about today is destruction of perception within the fixed framework of truth, right? I mean, that's really what we're talking about. The nine position in as the 9th rune, we're talking a feeling of endings and beginnings, aren't we? As we awaken to a higher level of truth. I'll do it that way. This is signaling we just don't have any time left. We need we need to exercise our will and manifest our will in a proper way that's protective and safe. Instead of standing on ceremony and saying, oh no, this is my personal sovereignty, this is the hill I die on. Well, you and how many others, right? I don't know. Let's do the geomancy rune. This is just insane. So we have a single dot for fire, 2 for, oh geez. Okay, well, if you watch the Foundations in Magic series on geomancy, you know that Karser is an interesting one. There are 3 runes in the geomancy runes that are considered too evil to continue. Karser's one of them. Rubius is another, and Kata Draconis, not Caput. Kata Draconis is the 3rd. Oh, I can't use a red pen. You're never going to see it because it's not really red. It's pink. You're not going to see that. You go, what is she doing? So here's Karser. Karser's about imprisonment, either by self or others. Yeah. Look, I think you know what I'm going to say. If you Look, I realize that a pandemic is a difficult thing, but when the country doesn't get on the same page, it's made more difficult by that happening, okay? Or that not happening, as it were. We have had irresponsible people in the federal government and have trickled down to some state governors that have all been on this negligent and irresponsible path, trying to convince everybody else that they don't have to worry, kids aren't carriers, blah, blah, blah. None of that's true. This is as bad as it's ever been. It was bad to begin with, and they turned a blind eye to it. You have to figure out for yourself why that is. I think it has to do with greed, but I don't know. I mean, it all comes down to money with these people. So I don't know how greed can't be part of this, but they want to keep grandma's supposed to die for the Dow, send our kids back to school because it's okay. They're not carriers. They're stoppers of the disease. Our stupid Secretary of Education says all of it wrong. They're lying. They're just lying to everybody. And it's oh, Dr. Fauci has such great ratings. I don't know why I don't, he said the other day. I guess nobody likes my personality. No, we understand what you are. You lie to us all the time. You never tell the truth. We can't trust anything about you or anybody you surround yourself with. Fauci, on the other hand, tells us the truth. The scarf lady, I don't know who she is. I don't even know. Look, bottom line is, Carcer's about imprisonment. The imprisonment of perception and how that manifests in our life. If we perceive this as a hoax or as something that, is designed to keep him from getting reelected, well, then the perception is going to imprison everyone, not just the self, but everyone else. If we had gotten behind this, likely we wouldn't have to be as structured as we are right now. But I don't know. It depends on how bad this thing really is. And I still don't think we know. The kinds of things that we're seeing with people long term are scary. So to turn a blind eye to that, to have tunnel vision, to pay no attention, oh, good Lord. You imprison not only yourself by your misperception or faulty perception, but you imprison everybody else in the process. Countries that have gotten past this and are somewhat back to normal, I mean, they still have to be careful, but somewhat back to normal, are countries that did this, that masked up. They did everything they were supposed to do. They've taken care of the kids. The schools are protected. Just look at what they have to do in South Korea just to get into their schools. Temperatures, hand washing. The kids learn. They learn to do that. But that's because everybody's on board. That's not happening here. And that's why we're still struggling. So, allow your perceptions to shift into a higher resonance today. Let it be informed by spirit. Let it be informed by source presence. See through the eyes of the higher self instead of the eyes of ego. Remove the shackles that are imposed by your perceptions that are faulty and are harming other people. And come into alignment with others today so that we can move forward together in shared purpose. Again, it's the same thing I say every day. I just think that this is such an important time. I'm just going to talk about this. I don't talk about the stuff I write very much. I feel kind of funny about selling my own stuff, but I don't have a publisher. I self-publish. And so if I don't do it, who will, right? But my most recent book is on shifting perception, and it's just it's called a manual for transformation, which I realize is a little bit arrogant, but or maybe just a little presumptuous. But I really think that transformation happens when you understand that you're a soul and not the body. It's not easy to live in this world as humans. The struggle that we face right now and that we've always faced has always been challenging. But the fact is, we are all up to the task. whatever layers of experience that we're part of here, our own or participating in someone else's. It's done for growth. It's done for the soul's purpose, the collective consciousness purpose to understand more about life in tangible form. To know that as souls we have it so much better than as bodies because we know the truth. It's not that there aren't dark energies out there, but the majority of it is not. The majority of it is based on love and unity and harmony and moving ever higher in our frequency. It's in that folding back in to source presence. Think of it this way. If you think of it as the Great Mother, and this is some esoteric from the stanzas of Dizan or Dizan, or I don't know how you pronounce that, but I love them. And some Blavatsky for you here on a Wednesday. But basically what they're talking about is the idea of the Great Mother breathing out the universe. And currently we rest in the Great Mother's breath before she breathes us back in. So in other words, we're on the exhale, waiting for the inhale. And as we wait for the inhale, we gather our strength and our energy, and we raise ever higher. As we wait for her to bring us back to her. Then she'll sleep a bit and she'll do it all over again, maybe. So that's who we are. It isn't, this all the time. It's not. We move ever higher in awareness and frequency and love. And then we come here and we duke it out in ways that never needed to happen. And likely in the beginning did not. That's not who we were, but then things happened and now here we are. But the bottom line is we can use today's Hagalaz energy to move past the imprisonment of self and ever higher in understanding of spirit. We don't really have any time left. The time is now. So, there you go. That's it for today. I think that's enough. We'll talk again tomorrow, and click subscribe here. I'd love you to do that. If you subscribe to the YouTube channel, then you'll also hear about the esoteric influences too. But anyway, both of these will go up on the blog and posted around various places. But check them out and be good to yourself. Be good to one another. Wear a mask if you go out. Please, please, please. And blessed be.